And as you become a game studio, a professional game studio where money's involved and all that, one of the things that you learn is maximizing your money. And this tactic, it works really good for maximizing your money. But one of the things that we've learned is it has the side effect of sort of, keeping your community in the dark. Now, this is kind of an experiment for us where we're wanting to kind of try something that was like we did back in the mod days. One of the things that we learned after releasing Red Orchestra 2 was that there was a lot of people in the community that wanted something that really played a lot more like the original game. And this is something that we were hearing from a few people before we released the game, but it really wasn't apparent to us the scope of just how many people were looking for something that played more like the original game. I think that it wasn't a matter of us ignoring our community. It was really a matter of us doing things in the new game that we thought made the game play better. In a lot of cases, it made the game more fast-paced. And there were a lot of players that wanted something a little slower, a little more tactical. Mm-hmm. So what we did was spent some time analyzing. I mean, I wouldn't mean to make myself sound cool here or anything, but I really dug in with the community. I jumped on servers. I listened to what players were talking about. I chatted with them on Steam Chat, and talked to them in game, and just looked at talked to them on the forums, and tried to take the pulse of the community. Like, what were the issues that they were having with not issues, but what were the things that they wanted to see, and and then I just put that together, and we discussed amongst the team what we wanted to do, and worked for a while on a game mode that had those features. Because really, we knew that we didn't have the time to sort of reinvent the wheel. We didn't want to completely make RO1 with better graphics with this mode, but we wanted to pick out what were the key elements of gameplay in the first game that these players wanted to see, and that's what we're testing right now. And so far, I think Butch might be able to comment on this as well, because he's a member of the community. But the feedback has been great so far. Guys are really, really enjoying it, which is happy to see, for me to see, because we put a lot of work into it. Core NA.
Well, Core NA actually reached the semis, and were beaten in an epic game with Chaos. DP. I can't remember. They beat Team Enclave in the semi-finals, who had previously, I think, beaten Project. I think I'd have to check that, but yeah, I mean, we've had some excellent team play all the way through. So, again, it speaks volumes for the game that we've managed to be able to stage this final, and it speaks volumes for these players because they've been on this road for quite a few months now.
At the same time, you've made it clear from the beginning that you're in to support the game for the long haul. This isn't a 6 to 8 month throwaway game, or sell you some DLC and we'll see you later next year for the next game release.
Absolutely.
Hey guys,
are in for the long run. Okay, it looks like the round is
going
starting
back now.
I think that I'd just like to say that I'm really looking forward to the future of RO2. I know that we had a rough launch for the game, and that's I'd be lying if I said that we hadn't noticed. but I think that like all of these things, we're in it for the long haul. So I feel like fixing issues with the game and making sure that the game is as fun as possible for the broad swath of our fan base will cause some success there. I think that basically, if you build something that's enjoyable for your fan base, they'll play it. And if things aren't there that are keeping them that are getting in the way of them enjoying the game, they'll play the game. People go where they have fun. So classic mode is going to give those hardcore RO1 fans the place where they can enjoy the game the way that they wanted to. The gameplay improvements that we're adding to the game across the board will make the game more enjoyable for everybody. And finishing off these technical issues that we're working on, improving the ping and the server performance, those will also make the game more enjoyable for everybody. So there's a lot of cool things coming down the pipe. New features, new maps, Rising Storm. The ride with Red Orchestra 2 is far from over, and the future is looking awesome. And also, I'd just like to add that winning the PC Gamer multiplayer first-person shooter of the year award was really a big shot in the arm for our team, and especially in a year where so many other really high-quality AAA shooters came out that were multiplayer games. I think that was a really great thing to see, and it shows that it's not necessarily about the millions that you spend on marketing. I think that seeing somebody like PC Gamer recognize that we took a lot of risks, that we tried to do a lot of things that no one had done before, and we may have shot for the stars and hit the moon, but that was okay, and they recognized that. So we thought it was great.
Half tracks, and these are developer choices here, but why do we get light tanks before the half tracks, which are really needed? That's from Super Fritty.
Well, I think the difference here is that half tracks, troop transports require a whole new additional set of gameplay systems that have not been created yet. Mm-hmm. Whereas adding a light tank is essentially, just balancing out the armor values and the vehicle physics for just a new version of something you already have. So
well, don't you know that we as players just want more and more all the time?
Yeah, I think publicly we haven't even said what we're working on, but I think, well, other than something I mentioned in a server the other day, which probably made its way around, but basically that half tracks were kind of on the back burner right now while we focus on some other things. For instance, classic mode, multiplayer campaign mode. I think that there are features that we planned to ship with the game, like multiplayer campaign mode, that had to be delayed, that we want to get that stuff done first before we really, are diving off into tons of new content.
Uh-huh. Okay.
We like to be really open, and we like to have, a dialogue with our community, and we like to talk about things that we're working on, but some of those things might not always make the cut for when a game is shipped. Mm-hmm. And it's hard for me, I have guys come back, John Gibson is a liar because he promised all this stuff that we didn't get.
You used the L word, I didn't.
Hey, I've taken a lot of lumps, and that's all right. That's the price you pay for being the boss. But really, it's a balancing act, because we want to have a more open dialogue with our community, but we also don't want people coming along 6 months later and digging up some quote somewhere that we're like, yeah, we're working on this, and we'd like to put it in the game, and then 6 months later, if it's not there, they're like, see, he promised it was going to be here, and he's just a liar, and
let me ask you a question that I don't want to embarrass you. I don't want to get into gossip, but
you're gonna, so go ahead.
All right. and I wouldn't feel good about being here without asking you this question, because it's been commented on so much in your forums. It's a topic, but I noticed that RO ladder was still stickied. What does that or does that not mean?
Was still stickied
in the forums.
Well, it's still hanging up in the forums as a sticky.
You mean like they have I'm not sure, like there's a forum post, or?
No, up in the top of the forums, we have a sticky for Scorched Earth. And I don't know if RO ladder is deceased or really or not. Can RO ladder happen? Is there any possibility?
I would, at this point, I can't comment for those guys. I think it's done. I think that where is this sticky that you're talking about? Is it in general discussion?
I think it's the RO Open Cup.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, near as I can tell, they're done. I think that they've decided to move on to other things.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to. I mean, I've already kind of gone through this on the forums, but basically, I'm sad to see them go. I feel like they did a lot of good things for the community and for the competitive gameplay of Red Orchestra, and really there were some problems there though with some of those guys, and just I've said this in the forums. When you approach a company and you're asking for a bunch of money for tournaments, you got to make sure your staff is acting professionally. And some members of their staff were not. And some members of their staff were, were really doing some super negative things, against Tripwire in the public. And
well, you've answered more than I was asking.
No, it's all right. I want to make it clear here. It's, we're all, we welcome feedback. And it can't all be positive, right? There's going to be things people don't like about the game. But if you're going to be part of an organization that is looking for donations from a game studio, you can't also be like flaming them on the side and basically have your hand out for money with one hand and then punching you in the face with the other. It just doesn't work. So that really, despite all of some of those negative things that a few of their members did, I continue to offer them, hey, let's work together. Let's, right up until the end, right up until like I think the day before they announced they were closing. I was sending emails to the guys saying, hey, let's work this out. We want to work with you guys. We want to sponsor your tournament. Let's work things out. And they decided that they didn't want to do that, and that's their prerogative. I've got a lot of respect for the guys over there, though. Like I said, they did a lot of good things, throughout the early days of RO, but at the end of the day, it was their decision to move on. So I'm looking forward to the future now. I think that there's some things brewing in the background here that we're looking at to continue to foster competitive play for Red Orchestra, for Red Orchestra 2. So yeah, that's what it looks like.